What exactly happened? How did this accident take place? In a moment, we'll give you the sequence of events as they took place, a series of possible errors, including a signaling error, which is at least the preliminary inquiry seems to suggest could have led to the train getting derailed, hitting a goods train. But before I come to that package on how the accident actually occurred, I want to go to Anubhav Das, an accident survivor in Cuttack in Odisha. Anubhav, tell us what you saw. You have survived. Firstly, good to see you there, healthy, and I'm sure no injuries, I hope. Tell us what you saw yesterday when this accident happened.
Thank you so much for having me. See, I was traveling from Kolkata to Cuttack. I'm basically a PhD student in geology. So I was there for my research work, for my field work, for my research. And we boarded the Coromandel at around 3:20 that left Shalimar. And up till the incident time, everything was going on smooth and okay. There was no problem at all. At around 6:30 in the evening, we heard a large thud, a large sound, a huge sound. And that accompanied 40 to 50 seconds of jerking and jerk effect that resulted in the final halting of the train. We could sense that yes, there had been some incident involving the train, and that's why we took care of our belongings, only the basic valuables, and we started to disembark the coach. Now, while disembarking the coach, the first thing we see after opening the doors is 3 coaches that have derailed and are lying just beside our train. So at this point, we did not know if these coaches were actually part of the Coromandel Express, the train that we were on, or were they part of some other train. We did not know this. Okay. So we see around 200-250 people coming out of those 3 coaches asking us for help, all bloodied face, bloody injuries on the head and everything, cut marks on the arms. So at this point of time, after giving them some help in form of water, mostly they were asking for water to wash their faces, and giving them the bed sheets of the Indian Railways that we tore into small pieces. We were about 30 people in our coach. Our coach was at the extreme end of Coromandel, and that is probably why we were fortunate enough to have escaped unscathed. Absolutely no issues, no bruises and nothing. So we gave them makeshift bandages made out from these bed sheets and everything. After talking to them, we understood that they were traveling in the Yeshwanthpur Express, which is traveling from Bangalore to Howrah. So at that point of time, we understood, okay, there had been an incident involving the Yeshwanthpur Express.
No, so you're saying these 3 bogies. Sorry, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
No, please.
No,
these 3 bogies were of Yeshwanthpur. Yeah.
They were the Yeshwanthpur. So you were on the Coromandel Express. Luckily, you were in one of the bogies towards the behind, not the front. The front bogies were the ones that were hit. Am I correct?
Correct.
So these 3 bogies that had derailed were from the other train?
Yes, they were from the Yeshwanthpur Express, traveling from Bangalore to Howrah.
And around you at that moment, were these bogies one on top of the other, the kind of images that we are seeing?
No. The images that you see of bogies toppled one upon the other belongs to the Coromandel Express. The 3 bogies of Yeshwanthpur Express, or the Bangalore-Kolkata Superfast Express that you are calling it, were just derailed and they fell down on the side of railway tracks, not one on top of each other, but in a line. Okay, so they were just rotated about 90 degrees and they fell down on one of their sides. So we started helping those people out, and by that time we had already informed. I had called the emergency response team at Bhubaneswar. I told them, given the stock of the whole situation, asked them to please help us in whichever way they could. Suddenly the network started to go out. We should not have any internet connectivity at that point as well. Thanks that I could send out a tweet before all these things came in. And we waited for the first ambulance to come in. In the meantime, about 200-250 local people, those were the first responders, and they came in like anything, helped us out extremely professional manner. Those local people have done a commendable job, let me tell you. They were there within 5-10 minutes of the incident occurring, because it is a populated area at that point. And the first ambulance came in at around 7 p.m. Yeah, if I'm not wrong. That is 30 minutes after the incident. So the ambulance, when it came in, until that point of time, us people in our coach, we thought the incident had only occurred involving these 3 coaches. So we were just helping them out, and they were in a very bad situation. So when the ambulances came in, they started moving towards the front of the Coromandel, which is away from us. We were a little bit puzzled at that time, thinking what exactly is going on. So around 4 or 5 of us, we started moving towards the front of the Coromandel Express, thinking what is it going on. As and when we passed about 4, 5 bogies in front of us, we actually saw the proper brunt of the mishap had been borne by the Coromandel Express. The engine of the Coromandel Express was lying at a height of about 3 stories high on top of coaches of the freight train to which the Coromandel has hit. Okay, so the whole sequence of the incident is that the Coromandel Express derails first, goes on to hit a goods train which was parked on the loop track beside the active track. Then a part of Coromandel Express, probably the second or the third coach, splits from the body of Coromandel, goes into the other railway track on which the Yeshwantpur Express is travelling towards Howrah in the opposite direction. So the end of the Yeshwantpur Express, only the 3 bogies towards the end of Yeshwantpur Express are affected and derailed. The rest of the train was intact and was almost 600 to 700 meters away from us, behind us. And when we reached the front of the engine of Coromandel Express, it was absolutely a chaotic situation, absolute pandemonium over there. You could see dead bodies lying everywhere. You could see people crying for help like anything. Families all dispersed from each other, trying to find each other. There was a lot of smoke. There was a lot of debris around because of the uprooting of the railway tracks, railway lines, and even the live wires. Those things were hanging at a very low line. We were afraid if they still had electricity, that would have resulted in a charging of the coaches. So at that point of time, you get an adrenaline rush. You are either very scared or you are just you're dumbfounded and you go on to either help people or just run away from that place. So the first thing we did was we saw that all of us in our coaches were okay, and then we went on to help these people out, including people in the Coromandel Express and the 3 bogies of the Yeshwantpur Express. The local peoples, they helped us, yes, but then such was the situation that even though you tried to help people, you could not imagine the magnitude of the intensity of how dramatic the situation was at that time. In any amount of people, injured people or bodies that we all could pick up in the bed sheets and we brought away, almost twice the amount of bodies and injured people again came at that point.